High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. We had so much fun with this show during football season. We couldn't wait to be here with you once again. Now for basketball, I'm Regan Holgate.
And I'm Scott Leber. Football season was a blast, but we've turned the page. Our mission now is to keep you up to speed on what's happening in the Rockford area in girls and boys basketball. Coming up in a bit, I'm going to sit down with PECATONICA head coach Bobby HEISLER to talk about his red-hot Indians. And in our Spotlight segment, we'll see how the Harlem girls basketball team is honoring the memory of a former teammate who passed away last summer.
Before we jump into the highlights, let's give you some perspective on the race we have happening in the NIC-10. Going into tonight, there were 3 teams with only 1 conference loss. Guilford at 7-1, Boylan at 6-1, and Auburn at 5-1. But East and Harlem were not far behind, tied for 4th place at 4-3.
Which brings us to tonight's big game at Boylan between the Titans and the E-Rabs, the first meeting of the season between them. Matthew Horde not available for this one for East, so some other guys had to step up. And that's exactly what Antonio Lewis does here. Taking it strong to the basket, he scored 16 points. Sterling Horde gonna float one in. He had 11 in the first half alone. Ryan Stark next will measure 3 for the Titans. Second half action now. Aiden Campos on the drive. He scores. He led Boylan with 23 points. Bud Samuels comes right back with a quick hoop, and he's not done. Samuels here on the drive, a beauty. Sterling Horde just hit one big hoop after another, a big 3 ball there. Now, Jamar Johnson helped the Titans rally from a 10-point deficit early in the 4th quarter. He scores 2 of his 22 points. He then sinks to 3. The Titans were right back in it. But Horde delivered another big 3. He scored 19 points. Samuels will drive for a big bucket. He scored 15. And then when it looked like the Titans had a sure layup, big Carl Harris rises up for the block. Look at Coach Sackmaster. He is pumped up. The E-Rabs get a huge win, 63-59.
Yeah, with Matthew out, we just had to step up because we've been without Matthew before he was injured. And we just had to step up and take the opportunity to win.
So how crucial was this game and this victory for you guys?
It was very crucial to come out here and get the win for Matthew, even though he's out. We got to do this.
We've been through so much adversity this year, and I don't want to say that we're getting used to it. I guess maybe we're doing a better job of handling it. And to come into Boylan's gym and be able to grind one out like that with more adversity that's going on, I just couldn't be more proud of our guys, and I hope that just leads for more good things to come.
All right, and now let's take you to Belvidere North. The Blue Thunder hosted Freeport. We'll start in the first half. Pretzels on the offensive. Diedrich Macon finds an open lane and gets the bucket. North with it now, and Adam Brown goes deep from the corner, and that's a triple. We saw a lot from the big man tonight for the Pretzels. 6'7" Jalen Dewey absolutely tearing it up inside. Freeport starting to climb their way back into this one. Elijah Richmond going end to end and lays it in there. What maybe should have been a charge there turns into a 3-pointer for Kalel Sims. Belvidere North took a 6-point lead into the half, but the Pretzels would rally back in overtime to win 66-65. Tough loss for the Blue Thunder. And the Harlem boys are trying to stay in the hunt in the NIC-10 race. They travel down Alpine Road to Jefferson tonight.
Taylor Castro had that game covered. She joins us now. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, guys. Harlem was one of the teams you showed earlier in the conference standings that's still in the hunt for the top. Jefferson is at the bottom. The Jayhawks were winless in conference play going into tonight. Could the Jayhawks get that goose egg off their record? Harlem had a 9-4 lead after the first quarter. Shots weren't falling for either team. Then they found their groove. Jefferson's Randy Johnson deflects the ball to Benjamin Tyler. He'll find Zaire Hudson in the corner. 4-3 to tie the game at 14. Great teamwork there. Jayhawks again, and it'll be Hudson again. He throws this one up, and it'll fall for 2. DeAndre Young was on fire for the Huskies tonight. He'll take it to the basket himself for the layup and get that and 1. Young again takes it down court, and the bucket, it'll be good. The Jayhawks defense came up huge. Cortez Christmas with a block, and then another one just comes a minute later. Jefferson earns their first win in conference play. They beat Harlem 49-46. This was the first of 2 games between these teams this season. They'll meet again February 11th at Harlem. Reagan and Scott.
Wow, thanks, Taylor. Big win for them. The Auburn Knights are off to a great start this season. They were 5-1 in conference play heading into the new year.
And they ran into some strong teams, though, over the holidays at the Hinsdale tournament and lost 3 games. They were trying to get that winning feeling back tonight at home. They hosted HARLEM, and the Indians played very well Wednesday in a big win over Belvidere. In this one, Cole Warren in rhythm early. Knocks down 3 for the Indians. Adrian Agee, he knows all about three-point shooting. He gets his. Amir Danforth in the corner. He pockets a 3-ball as well. Isaiah Huey preferred to take the ball to the hoop, and with authority. How about that shot? Yeah, he's all right. Now this is Auburn basketball. A couple quick passes and a transition hoop by Agee. Huey again going to drive to the bucket. Another impressive one there. But Auburn serves up yet another fast break. This time it's Brennan Horton-Lee who finishes Auburn cruise to the win.
We'll have Nick 10 girls highlights in a bit from Hononegah, Guilford, and Harlem, plus an interesting boys battle between DIXON and South Beloit.
And later we're going to see how the Harlem girls basketball team is remembering a former teammate. But up next, we're going to spend a few minutes with PECATONICA head coach Bobby HEISLER. His Indians are putting together a very impressive season. You're watching Overtime.
If you haven't been paying close attention, we have a basketball powerhouse rising at PECATONICA. The Indians are ranked 2nd in the state this week in Class 1A.
Yeah, they won 27 games last season before losing in the sectionals. They already have 14 wins this season and only 1 defeat. So I sat down this week with head coach Bobby HEISLER to get a better feel for this PECATONICA team. Well, Bobby, you guys are coming off 2 holiday tournaments. You squeezed in the Forreston tournament, then the Eastland tournament. You made the championship game in both events. And I know coaches are looking over the holidays to play a lot of games, to get better, to grow their teams. How much of that growth and improvement did you see out of your guys?
I think we saw a tremendous amount. One of the other things I don't think you really alluded to, but also areas that we can get better, right? And Forreston stretched us a little bit. There was a stretch there that I was not with the team, dealing with some illness. So it gave our leaders an opportunity to step up in that regard, put some coaches in some different roles, so really stretched us on that end. And then we got to play a really good Byron team in the championship, who ultimately beat us and showed some weaknesses and things that we had to improve. And especially on the defensive side. And I thought we followed that up in the Eastland tournament the following week, making those adjustments, and a credit to our kids for doing so.
You have your own MLK tournament coming up here in a little over a week. At a good field again this year. You got Scales Mound in the tournament, a good Galena team, Johnsburg, Richmond Burton. How pleased are you with the way this MLK tournament here at PECATONICA has taken off the last few years? And what do you think of the field this year?
Extremely pleased with the way it's kind of panned out the last couple of years. We'd like to make it super competitive year in, year out with some of the best small school teams in the area. And this year I think it's going to be tough once again, just like it was last year. I think it'll be representative, kind of like our summer league is, of teams who do well typically have postseason success as well.
What I like about your team is it's not just 2 or 3 guys you rely on. You got 6, 7, 8 guys who can be your leading scorer maybe on any given night. That makes you guys tough to prepare for. How sweet is it to have that kind of balance on your roster?
Well, from a coaching standpoint, you enjoy it just from, the strategic side, which you said we're kind of hard to game plan for. But then on a player side, it's enjoyable for the kids because they give of one another to have that success, and it allows for more people to participate and be an important part in that role that winning is. So I think that we do things the right way. We try to do things the right way, and I think that's why you see so much excitement from our kids.
And you have a lot of football players on this team who played on the successful DuPac football team. They played in some huge football games, pressure-packed situations. Does some of that translate over to basketball when it comes to a big game situation?
Yeah, I certainly think it does, Scott. One of the things that, and obviously the games are important, but I think more so than that is the early morning workouts. We have a breakfast club here. Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, kids are here lifting at 6 a.m. And we share a lot of kids, and we have a lot of similar beliefs and thoughts on that as coaching staffs, both football and basketball. And I think it lends itself to one another, and I think that's why you're seeing the success that you're seeing.
How high have you guys set the bar of expectations for this season? Do you talk about that long-range goal, or you just kind of show up day by day and take it that way?
Well, I think the goal is the same every year. And, you know, the ability to meet that goal may change year in, year out, or you may have different challenges. But I think in high school basketball, the goal every year is to win a state championship.
And PECATONICA's MLK tournament next weekend could be very interesting, especially if Peck and Scales Mountain meet up for the championship.
Yeah, and Scales Mountain is ranked 4th in the state. The Indians also have a big non-conference game coming up this Monday against undefeated Rockford Christian. But we're back to the highlights next with Nick 10 girls action.
And we'll go to South Beloit, where the SOBO boys hosted a solid DIXON Dukes team. And the HUSKIES girls have been setting the pace in the Nick 10 girls race this season. They were 7-0 in conference play entering tonight.
Guilford and Boylan aren't far behind, though. The Indians needed to keep winning, and against a solid Auburn Lady Knights team is no easy feat. The Knights came into this game in Rockton with a 4-3 conference record, but they would leave Rockton sitting at 4-4 in the conference. HUSKIES won 45-19.
All right, at Guilford, the 5-1 Vikings hosted Belvidere. Kelly Olney off the pass here drains the 3 for Belvidere. Lindsay Knuth getting the board and the putback for Guilford. Now Tiana Hansard here, watch this. On the move, drives, draws the foul. No bucket though, but that's okay. Only coming right back with it, tries to go up and under before the buzzer. So close there, not quite. The Vikings continue their dominance in the Nick 10, winning 57-29 over the BUCS.
The Jefferson and Harlem girls played at Harlem. This was a good matchup on paper. Both teams were 5-3 in the conference. Tamia Sago into the paint here, and she lays in the floater. Then comes Nikki Harrison here for Harlem. Nice spin move there and banks it in. What a play. Sago driving again, floats it up from the side, and it rattles its way in. Paige STOVALL now for the Huskies down the baseline, and she lays one in. The Harlem Huskies will tack on another win. They beat the Jayhawks 52-31. In the other 2 Nick 10 girls games tonight, Belvidere North dropped 1 to Freeport 60-44, and the Boylan Titans moved to 7-2 in the conference with a 69-12 win over East. The South Beloit boys basketball team is having a great season, led by amazing 6'8" sophomore Ross Robertson. They reached the championship game of the Eastland Holiday Tournament.
Yes, they did. They won 11 of their first 13 games. Their only losses were to Rockford Christian and PECATONICA, 2 pretty good teams. Tonight, they hosted a solid DIXON Dukes team from the Big Northern Conference. SOBOS with the ball in the first quarter, and they find that man, Ross Robertson, at the forefront, getting the first points of the night. DIXON back the other way would respond. Darius Harrington for the jumper, and that goes. South Beloit right back now. Lawrence Koska inside to Robertson again. Why not? He puts it in again. Duke's able to go back and forth with the SOBOS. Grant Boss finds Harrington inside to tie up the game early. DIXON on his next possession kicks it out. Austin Hicks will drill a 3-ball. Duke's keeping control of the game here with some really good ball movement. Eventually they find Wyatt Wetzel behind the arc, who hits the 3. SOBOS off the inbound try to respond, and they find Robertson again, and you know where this is heading. Right in the hoop. Drops it in there. Robertson again fighting his way to the basket. Takes the shot. In and one. Almost single-handedly kept this team in the game, but DIXON beats South Beloit 49-37.
All right, and let's take you to North Boone, where the Vikings hosted Rockford Lutheran. Crusaders here growing cross court to Blake Brogy, drains it for the first points of the game. Lutheran in transition, inside pass goes to Brogy again, and that's an easy 2. And here he is once more, now with the takeaway, and sends it down to Marquise Haynes for the quick finish. North Boone's Zach Topping next up on the move here, and he'll figure his way into the paint, and he gets the layup to go. And check this one out. Nice alley-oop to Vontez Dent, and the Crusaders are cruising. Lutheran takes down North Boone 77-55. Also in the Big Northern Conference, Rockford Christian took down Oregon 90-44, and the Byron Tigers grab a win over Rock Falls 59-33, the final there.
That takes care of the highlights, but don't go away.
Next, we'll see a touching tribute by the Harlem girls basketball team as they hang on to the memory and the inspiration of a former teammate. Stay with us.
Losing basketball games is never easy. Losing a teammate is borderline unbearable. and that happened to the Harlem girls basketball team last summer. We'll take a look at how those players and coaches are dealing with it in our Overtime Spotlight segment.
She was the craziest, funniest person I've ever met. Like, every day at practice we talked the entire time. Like, it was the best friendship I've ever had.
She was a lot of fun. She always had funny stories to tell. Very nice, very caring, and she made everyone laugh.
Abby McGregor would have been a senior this season. She passed away last July 6th, shortly after a tumor was discovered in her brain. It all happened very suddenly. She passed not from cancer, but from complications following surgery to remove the tumor.
She had headaches leading up to, what eventually did happen, but you wouldn't have known because she was always happy and smiley and, just ready to get after it in practice.
Abby was a remarkable student, athlete, and she touched the lives of all that knew her. Please join us in a moment of silence as we remember Abby McGregor.
Six months have passed since Abby died, but she's still very much a part of the team. Before every home game, one Harlem player wears Abby's number 30 jersey to honor her. Paige STOVALL wore it the first game. It was, as you can imagine, an emotional moment.
And wearing number 30 in memory of Abby McGregor, a 5'9" junior, Paige STOVALL.
How much does it help you to still process this by honoring Abby in the ways that you're doing it?
It helps a lot. It's hard, but it does help know that we're not forgetting about her, because that was my fear, was that we were gonna just ignore it, but I'm really glad we're honoring her.
I have seen another program do it, so that was part of it. And then in addition to that, we didn't know what to do with the jersey, right? We had a jersey and we had ordered it for her specifically, and what do you do with it? We didn't want to necessarily retire it as brand new jersey, and so we were like, let's, honor her in this way.
Senior Brooklyn Bryan, one of Abby's closest friends, wore number 30 for Harlem's second home game.
It was so special to me because I transferred to Harlem my freshman year, so she was the first friend I made here and the first person that talked to me, so to wear her number, it was very surreal.
Did you feel her presence at all that night when you were wearing
I
that?
did, yeah. And I was praying to her, help me through the game, not to cry and stuff.
The girls also wear Abby Strong t-shirts during warm-ups before every game, home and away. Keeping Abby close to them with these tributes has helped the girls through the grieving process.
Abby was a big part of our program. She wasn't our leading scorer. She wasn't our captain or anything like that, but in her own way, she did inspire and lead and do wonderful things that helped others be great. And she gave everything she had every single day.
I would just learn never take anything for granted, and to really cherish the people that are in your lives when they're in your lives, because you never know when the last day they're going to be in your lives.
I do appreciate the Harlem girls opening up about Abby and allowing me to do this story.
Yeah, great story, Scott, and definitely can't be easy, but I'm glad they're able to honor her the way that they are. We'll be right back.
If you want to be immersed in basketball action in person tomorrow, you're going to want to head to Rock Valley College.
The Rumble and the Rock will be held there all day and all night. 6 games at the high school and college levels. It starts at 10 a.m. with a girls game between Auburn and Jefferson. That's followed by a noon game between the East and Guilford girls. At 1:45, the Rock Valley College women will take the court against the 8th-ranked team in the country, Illinois Central.
Okay, if that's not enough, how about this? At 3:45, the Rock Valley College men will battle Illinois Central. Then at 5:45, there's going to be a great Nick 10 boys matchup. This one you don't want to miss. East against Guilford. 2 teams definitely in the hunt for the Nick 10 championship, so that's a big one. And then finally at 7:45, the Auburn and Jefferson boys will go at it. Also a couple youth basketball games, brief, but they will be also sprinkled in there. Hey, join us each Friday night now at this time on Fox 39 for Overtime. We're going to be right here with you right into the month of March.
And we're excited about it. Remember, you can find highlights and scores anytime by going to mystateline.com. We were happy to be back, and that will do it for this show.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.